Welcome to the 3D repository and this quick little introduction on how to successfully upload your 3D files. First of all, you will want to log in, and if you do not already have an account, you create one here. You have to wait for an approval of the administrators to use the 3D viewer. I will just quickly log in here. In the Browse tab, you will see where your model will end up, but we will go to the Upload tab. First of all, you will need to identify your object with the object name and the object alternative name, which you can often find in a Wikidata or a Wikipedia article, as well as the language in which the alternative name is in. Next, we will add the object GND, which you can find over the Deutsche Nationalbibliothek. When simply searching for the object in question, you might get a lot of irrelevant hits because you're searching in the entirety of the database. Therefore, it might be a good idea to narrow the search, in this case to Werke. Unfortunately, there are still no relevant hits, so I'll add Speyer to the search. It does not seem like there are any relevant entries for the Speyer Synagogue in the Deutsche Nationalbibliothek, but if you were to find a relevant entry, you just copy the top link. Now on to the object type. The object type is a synagogue, and you can find the object type ID at the Art and Architecture thesaurus. All you do is find the term and select the relevant option. In this case, it would be buildings and not institutions. Then you copy the ID, paste it into the object type ID, then you copy the page link and paste it into the object type reference and press create WSGI entry. However, this already exists, so I will just add synagogue here. The location of the object can also be entered as WSGI entity, and in this case it's Speyer. Again, we cannot find the GND, however, we can find the geo name. So you search for the city, press the option that is relevant, and just copy the URL. Great, now we have the object location, the category, and next is the Wikipedia article, if there is one. The Wikidata link should also be added. When you create the WSGI entry, you should not be alarmed if everything just scrolls down automatically. You just have to scroll up again and continue where you left off. The reconstructed period refers to what time period your model depicts. This synagogue is depicted how it was in 1250, so I'll write that. There is no specific end date, so I'll just leave that blank. There are a lot of different copyright options listed here. However, the most useful one is the CC BY NC SA, which means that people can use your model, however, only for non-commercial use, and they would have to credit the original author. And the author here is Stephen Wetherington, and you also add the person affiliation, which means the institute they belong to, and the person ORCID. If you don't already have an ORCID, you can create an ID over the link. To find an already existing ORCID ID, you simply type in the name in question in the top right corner. Unfortunately, Mr. Wetherington, the creator of the model, does not yet have an ORCID ID. For demonstration purposes, I'll just use this one. You simply copy the ID and paste it in the relevant field. You can also add an author through an existing WSGI entry. Just search for the person and choose the correct one from the drop-down menu. The holder is the Hochschule Mainz, and again you can find the organization GND through the Deutsche Nationalbibliothek search. I will limit the search to organizations and then choose the correct one from the list. Again, you just copy the top link and paste it into the relevant field. The VIAF can be found by following the link and searching for the institution, and just copy the URL and paste it in here. The organization website you can find through Google. And there we have it, the holder and the organization. And we press the Create Whiskey button, scroll up again, and now you might be a bit alarmed to see that the copyright is blank or it just says Whiskey NT. However, this is not a problem, it has been saved, it just doesn't show. Then you go to the 3D creation, add the used software, the modeling technique, you can add multiple here, and then you add the creators. You can add multiple creators, but it makes sense to start with the main modeler. If they already have a whiskey entity, you just add that. You also choose their role in the process. And you can, as mentioned, add a new person. In this case, it was just one person, so I'll leave that blank. The creation time span refers to the time in which it was modeled. So maybe it was a couple of months, maybe it was just a couple of days, and so on. In this case, it was not specified, so I'll also leave this blank. If it is part of an already mentioned model, or if there's already an existing entry of it, you can link them here. This, however, is a new one, so I'll just continue to the project. If your model is part of a bigger project, it's likely already in the system, so you can just select it from the existing whiskey entities. I'll just quickly show what you need to look out for, so I'll manually put this in. You add the project time span, the acronym, the website, the project outcomes, and so on. Here, I will add it to the case study of the reconstruction of the synagogue in Speyer. The native file is the original file in which you modeled in. In this case, the object was modeled in Blender, so I'll upload a Blender file to the native file tab. When uploading a PDF, it will give you a warning message that it's not supported for conversion yet. However, this is not a problem as the PDF file does not need to be converted. The viewer file upload is a zip folder containing both your object and your textures. It is important that there are no special characters in the file name and no spaces. This also holds true for the textures within the zip file. Add a model description and then go on to add information about the publication. The publication date would be the day you do this and the time at which you do this. The publisher is yourself. There will be no automatic renders yet as they have not yet been automatically rendered. Quickly check if everything is where it's supposed to be and then hit save. It might take a couple of minutes for the 3D viewer to load. Now I see here that the 3D viewer file has not been uploaded correctly as there is no model being displayed. I quickly look if there are any other things missing, but this looks fine, so I'll just add the 3D viewer zip file again by pressing edit. Then I just scroll back down to the viewer file upload and re-upload the zip file. Maybe it just didn't load properly the first time, and press save. I wait for the model to load, and this is where we're at now. You can rotate the model using left click and zoom in and out using the mouse wheel. If you press shift while left clicking, you can move the entire camera view. On the right hand drop down menu, you can change the lighting of the scene, directional lighting, the ambient lighting, the camera lighting, the background color, and so on, and save it. Press refresh to see if everything is still good, and then you're done. If later there is any more information added to the model, you can always edit and update your entry.